Hey, it's Liz from Thrice, and it is Web3 Wednesday. So last Sunday, the New York Times business section cover story was called "This is Life in the Metaverse." It was written by a woman named Kashmir Hill, and she decided to go into Horizon, which is Meta, or Facebook's, platform and Metaverse for events and meetings and other kinds of activities. She talked about going to comedy clubs and, visiting beautiful outdoor scenery and the like. So Meta is calling this a spatial co-present version of the internet, which is a bit of a mouthful. But what her idea is to go into Horizon every hour of the day. So she would go in from 4 to 5 a.m., 4 to 5 p.m., all the different hours of the day. And she did this over what appears to be many weeks. It wasn't like she spent one day doing 24 hours, and tried to understand what it was like to interact in there. First, she talked a little bit about her avatar, which is a little image of here, and she described as animated, floating, and legless. And a little bit, primitive, but one of the things she did note was that Horizon's rules are that you actually have to look like a human. You can't build a robot or some kind of a space monster or something. You have to look like a human being. It doesn't have to look like you. No one really knows what you look like. And you don't have to use a real name. She used Cash Hill, so she did use her name and kind of disclosed that she was a reporter. But many people have just sort of silly made-up names. And she also noted that while there's a couple 100,000 people that have used this platform, according to Meta, they've sold 15 million Oculus headsets. So they're not necessarily going into Horizon, even if they are going into one of the other metaverse platforms that are out there. She also noted that there's about 10,000 environments that have been created by individual users, and very few of them can be monetized. It's really more like create a space, invite some people in. And the other thing that she noted was that even though, technically hundreds of thousands of people can log into Horizon at a given time, only a couple dozen can be in any room at the same time, mostly due to technology limitations that we have today. But when a room gets too full, it sort of clones itself, and then another group of people can come in. So you and your couple dozen friends could be in there in this comedy club enjoying it, and then if 20 more friends came, they would just be sort of put into another room. And the takeaway was she felt a little bit like it was kind of, AOL in the dial-up days in terms of where the technology will be going. But she didn't hate it. She got used to wearing the headset. She talked about that you could plug it in if your battery's running down, and originally she didn't really want to do that, but ended up having to succumb to that at some point. And I guess the takeaway was she didn't hate it. She enjoyed it enough that she would go back occasionally, not just for the story, but because she enjoyed meeting some of the people that were in there. She also did not enjoy meeting some of the people who were in there, some of the trolls and the like, and did note that there are several people who were supposed to really be moderating the space and keeping young children out, children under 13, and yet there were plenty of children under 13 that were in there. So perhaps not surprisingly, Meta is not doing a tremendously good job on the sort of monitoring and moderation. But anyway, for those of you who didn't have time to read the article, that's your quick little TLDR, and we'll see you next week on Web3 Wednesday. Thanks so much.